What is up, future rich bitches? Thanks for coming to my channel. If you are new here, I am Madeline, and at this channel, I help empower women to change their money mindset, start investing, growing their wealth, and one day become rich bitches. So if that is something that you are interested in, please make sure to subscribe and, give this video a like because I want to be a rich bitch just as much as you. So I'd love if you could help me out a little bit with the algorithm. So today we're going to talk about the 5 most commonly used types of debt, if you should use them, and how you can use them the right way. So the first one is credit cards. So many people have credit card debt, and credit card debt is just the absolute worst type of debt that you can have. So sorry to break it to you, but credit card debt means that you don't pay your balance off every month. So you carry your balance over and pay maybe the minimum or only a portion of it. And the reason that this is so bad to do is because the interest rate that credit card companies charge you is almost double the rate that you can expect to receive by investing in the stock market. So when you carry a balance, you are paying the bank or the credit card company almost double the amount of money that they could receive if they hadn't paid for your purchases and instead invested that money in the stock market. So I said this in the last video and I'm gonna say it again. If you don't want banks to keep making so much money, definitely pay off your credit card every month. That is so incredibly important. So now that you know that you should 100% not ever carry a balance on your credit card, then should you have one and how can you use it the right way? So credit cards are actually really great tools to help you establish credit and maintain a healthy credit score. The key to doing this is to pay your balance off in full every month, because your credit score is a metric that is composed of your payment history mostly, but also includes the amount of outstanding debt you have compared to your credit limit. So if you're always paying off your credit card, that helps that ratio and therefore will boost your credit score. If you want to know more about how your credit score is calculated, I will link another post that I did on my blog about that below. So check that out if you're interested to see how your credit score is calculated and how you can improve it if you need to do that. Another thing that's great about having a credit card is that credit cards often offer huge perks. So my absolute favorite credit card in the whole wide world is the Capital One Venture Card. And I think it's so great because they give you 2 points for every dollar that you spend, no matter what the purchase is. So a lot of credit cards offer like 2 points or 3 points for different categories. But this one is just across the board 2 points for every dollar. So it's super easy and you don't have to think about what to use separate credit cards on. So I love it for that. Also, you can redeem these points for flights and Ubers and all sorts of other things. So essentially what this does by giving you 2 points for every dollar that you spend is give you a 2% discount on all your purchases. And I feel like if you were at a store, you would never say, no, I don't want a 2% discount. So using a credit card is a great way to do that all the time. On top of the discount or points you can receive from using your credit card, they also a lot of times will offer other limited time perks or something like that. So some of the benefits of my Venture Card when I used to be able to travel internationally was that when you go to foreign countries with the Venture Card, they don't charge you currency exchange fees and things like that. So that helps save some money if you're really into traveling. I would highly suggest this when we can finally leave the country again. But that's another great perk of this card. On top of that, they also will offer limited time perks. So they offered full reimbursement if you wanted to get TSA PreCheck or a global entry card. So I did that. That's $100 value that they fully reimbursed me for. So different credit cards offer different types of things. NerdWallet is an excellent resource for comparing credit cards based on your lifestyle, so you can get the most perks from your credit card based on the purchases you make the most. So I will link that below as well as a link to Capital One because they're just my faves. So if you're looking to get a credit card and don't have one yet, definitely check out NerdWallet and Capital One and see what's best for you. But the key to having a credit card is to pay it off in full every month. No questions asked. Do not carry a balance. Pay your credit card off every month. Then that way you can get all the perks and all the great things that come along with it and not have to pay any of the extra money in insanely high interest fees for keeping a balance on your credit card. Okay, number 2 is student loans. So these are just millennials and Gen Z. You guys are graduating soon, so soon to be you, student loan haters. So while a lot of people hate student loans, I am not a student loan hater. And that's because student loans allow you to really, make a leap in your life and get jobs and positions and future earnings that you maybe would have been able to get there, but it would have been a lot harder to qualify for those things without using student loans to get a college degree. So I would never recommend skipping college because you have to use loans. So therefore I just don't think that they're that bad. And I think it's an investment in yourself. So while it does super suck to pay for them when you get out of school, I still think that you're better off. And that's because the average degree holder makes over their lifetime about $1 million more than someone who doesn't have a college degree. And the amount that you're going to pay in interest on your student loans is probably going to be far less than $1 million. So to me, the earnings potential far outweighs the interest cost that is associated with your student loans. Also in the US, the lowest earnings gap between degree holders and non-degree holders is 38%. So that means that people with a college degree make 38% more than people without a college degree, and that's the lowest gap. So in some of the bigger cities like New York, DC, they actually have a 100% higher salary, so they make double the amount that non-degree holders have. So to me, it's just a no-brainer. If you can't pay for college out of pocket and you're not qualifying for scholarships, I would suggest using student loans to pay for college to make sure that you can get that college degree and have those future earnings. So how do you use student loans the right way? I think what's really important about student loans is that a lot of kids, you're a kid, you don't really understand how this is going to affect you until it does later on, but you need to compare the tuition amount to what your future potential earnings are. So if you're going to get, a medieval literature degree or something, there are not that many jobs, and while I'm sure some people end up working for prestigious publications and things like that and make fine money, the likelihood that you'll be able to do that is really low. So you need to do a real evaluation of what your future salary expectations are versus what the tuition is. So if you're gonna make $40,000 a year and you want to go to a school in New York, maybe that's not the best option for you. And on top of that, you also are going to need to factor in, are you paying for housing out of pocket, or do you need to take out additional loans to pay for that? How about books? How are you going to eat? Are you going to have a job? So the more expenses that you're going to need to add into this, the more loans you're going to need to take out. And again, in really expensive cities, I know it's cool to move to New York or DC or something and go to school there, but you really need to do a comparison and a reality check on yourself whether your future earnings are going to allow you to pay off this insane amount of tuition and still live a decent life. So if you really want to lower the cost of going to school and you maybe are okay, maybe this super expensive school is not going to be the best option for me, obviously, you can apply for scholarships. That's a great way to get some money. You can also look for employers in the area. I went to U of L, go Cards. I don't know if that's the right direction of the L for you. But anyways, the UPS hub is in Louisville, so they will actually give you full tuition reimbursement if you work for them throughout your schooling. So you can look for options like that if you still want to go to one of these schools that's too expensive. If neither of those options are really going to work for you, then you can find cheaper schools and go to those instead. I didn't go to any of these crazy cool cities and I still had a great time. So you can too. All right, number 3 is auto loans. So auto loans, most people use car loans, but these are actually terrible to use to buy cars. And that's because cars are depreciating assets. So basically, That just means that their value goes down over time, and that's why you have never sold your car for more than you bought it for, because it depreciated in value. So the reason why loans are a really bad option for this is because you have to pay an additional cost of interest. So essentially the sticker price that you buy the car for or take the loan out for is the value of the car, right? So then when you factor in the additional cost of interest, you're just paying more than the car is worth for the car, and then you can't recoup that money when you sell it later. So it just doesn't make any financial sense to use a car loan. So how can you use auto loans the right way? Basically, you can't. I would never recommend them unless like you total your car and you need to take out a loan in order to buy a new one because you need a car to get to work and things like that. Then yeah, I would definitely say it's more important to have the car than to worry about the auto loan. But if you are just like looking to buy a new car in the future, then I would look at what cars you're thinking about buying, what the trade-in value is for your current vehicle, calculate the difference, and then start a high yield savings account to save for the difference. I will put some links below that will give you some more information on how to set up a high yield savings account if this is something that you're looking to do. All right, mortgages. So mortgages are a type of debt that I think are okay because houses are considered an appreciating asset. So unlike cars, houses go up in value, typically over time. 2008 was a little glitch, but we're back on track now, guys. So since housing prices typically go up over time, as long as the appreciation that you can expect on your house whenever you sell it in the future is higher than the amount that you will have paid for the house in the form of principal or the amount that you took out for the loan plus the interest that you pay, then it's totally fine to use a mortgage to fund a housing purchase. But you should strive to save for a 20% down payment before buying a house. First of all, I think it's great practice. Houses are super expensive. Things pop up. Maybe you have to buy an air conditioner or a water heater or whatever, and you need to make sure that you're prepared to cover these expenses and that you have practiced saving and know that you can actually take care of the house and the maintenance that comes along with it. So I think great practice for this is to save for a 20% down payment. Another important note is that you should make sure that you buy a house that you can actually afford and not just one that you necessarily qualify for the loan for. So the bank will look at your debt to income ratio and determine how much money they can lend you essentially to keep you in a healthy range. But that may exceed kind of like what works best for your lifestyle and spending. So if you want to look at how you can calculate your debt to income ratio, I will link a post that we did to that below. And then it's super important that maybe you qualify for $400,000 of loans, but really $250,000 house and the payment for that fits your lifestyle and spending best. So don't necessarily just go with what the bank tells you. Make sure you analyze like what your payment will do to you every month. Again, there's going to be expenses that pop up and things like that that you'll need to pay. So you don't want to be stuck having this enormous mortgage that you just can't afford. And the last type that we're going to talk about, number 5, is personal loans. So personal loans you can really take out for just like anything, but a lot of people use these to buy things that they want. So like they'll take out a personal loan to pay for their wedding or something. And that is a terrible use of loans because loans are financial obligations. So the more debt you take on, the more payments you have to cover if you lose your job or can't work for some reason or your spouse has a drop in their income, whatever it is. They're financial obligations. So you have to pay them every month regardless of how much money you're making. So when you use loans to buy things like weddings or clothes or whatever it is that you want to buy, you just end up paying more for them because of interest, and it also makes you less financially stable. So I would never recommend using a personal loan to fund like a want purchase. How you can use them the right way is to refinance your like credit card debt or other high interest debt. So like we talked about, the interest on credit card debt is super high. So you can probably get a personal loan with an interest rate that is a tiny fraction of the interest rate on your credit card debt. So like if you have a lot of credit card debt, this is a really good option to look into. Can you get a personal loan that you can use to pay off your credit card and then work to repay that personal loan back at a much lower interest rate? This will save you a ton of money down the line. It'll also help your credit score. So if you have any high interest debt, I would definitely consider using a personal loan to help refinance that and save a little bit of money on interest. So I hope this helped you understand the most commonly used types of debt and how you can use them to build wealth or move yourself forward in life, and definitely avoid the ones that are just going to end up costing you a lot more money down the road and just are not smart financial decisions. So I hope this helped. Again, we release a new video every Saturday, and in just 15 minutes a week, you can build your financial literacy and get on your path to becoming a rich bitch. Make sure to like this video because I want to be a rich bitch just as much as you. So I'd really appreciate it. And thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you soon.